So, welcome. This is Gorebagg at gorebagg.com and Gorebagg TV, and I want to tell you, welcome to Which Recorder Shall I Buy? Which recorder shall I buy? That is the question of the day. And it was, by the way, mentioned that plastic is a natural material. We don't think of it as natural because it's not recyclable particularly, but actually the plastic is the same as ivory in the sense that it plays the way that ivory plays, and the earliest Baroque instruments were ivory, typically. So, and many, as I said, many of the wood instruments are potentially dangerous to you because they could actually cause an allergic reaction. So, let's just, bring it over. I'll use that. I can use my little egg timer here. Just think of yourself as a 3-minute egg. And I'll let you know when you're cooked. Okay, so I will explain to you about how to choose a recorder. First of all, if you're learning recorder, you absolutely do not want wood. Absolutely do not want wood. I don't care if it's only $100 to $200 for the wood recorder, or even $30 for the wood recorder. You don't want wood. The reason is because you are going to be spending more time hitting the bore with boiled linseed oil, and you'll be using this detergent compound to degunk, and you'll be trying to prevent the labium from expanding or contracting, or you don't want to touch the thing. God forbid you touch it when it's wet because it will deform instantly from your fingertip. There are so many things to go wrong with wood. So let's just concentrate on plastic as a beginning instrument, and I can actually tell you that unless you want to spend at least a half hour a day doing nothing but reconditioning and conditioning your instruments and building them up and working them and so forth, spending a lot of time with them, you really don't want wood. You want to concentrate on plastic, and you may find the plastic to your liking if you understand that there is an amateur plastic recorder, a toy plastic recorder, a semi-professional plastic recorder, and a completely professional plastic recorder. So there's plastic and plastic. So first of all, here's the cheap plastic right here. It's just a piece of garbage, actually. And it's the kind of instrument that you buy when you have a bunch of kids that you want to have them tootle around, and they go like that, and then it's okay. It's not a big deal. It's just fun. And then there's now I have, unfortunately, my two examples. One is a soprano, and the other one is an alto. And we're going to talk about the different ranges. So this was higher, and this one's lower, and the bigger they are, the lower the ranges. So there's a sopranino, which is smaller than this, and then the soprano, and then there's the alto, and then there's a tenor, and then you get down to the bass, baritone bass, the basso, the big bassos, and even contrabass, which is larger than a person. And I've seen people actually play them and then die. So you can't really compare this cheap old plastic, which it's been blow molded into this condition, and then this piece here, which actually has been channeled out, furrowed out, it's been worked. It's not just a piece of blow molded plastic. It's got actually some craftsmanship to it, although it's plastic. Keep in mind that if this were ivory, if I had an ivory one right next to this one, let's say that this was the ivory one, side by side, you would not know the difference. The only way you might know the difference if you saw the grain or not grain. You'd see the grain in the ivory. You wouldn't see the grain in this one. The question of which one to buy. is not a question of plastic then, because let that be another issue. Plastic or not plastic, I say choose plastic. And then later decide whether you're going to go further than that or not. I wouldn't, frankly. I'd stay with the plastic. And I'm going to. Secondly, the question is going to be of range. Do you want the soprano or the alto? Don't even think at this point about a tenor. I'll demonstrate a tenor to you when it comes here, but please don't buy a tenor, because I think you'd be an idiot to do that, frankly. Also, if you're going to be a student of mine, let me buy the recorder for you, please, and I will undertake to get the recorder, to get it delivered to you. I will order it, and I'll have them drop ship it to you, or I'll have them ship it to me, and I'll ship it to you, whatever it is. Please don't buy your own recorder. Please don't do that. And I recommend that. But I'll tell you how I buy a recorder. Because you're paying so little for the recorder, never mind the $5.50, forget that. You're going to buy a recorder that's going to cost between $35 and $75. You're probably never going to have to buy another one in your life, because these things do not actually damage unless you crash them, crunch them, smash them, put them under a truck. If you keep it in reasonable condition, it should last you a lifetime, and several lifetimes, actually. You can take it apart and clean it, which you're going to do several times a month as you work with it, to degunk it. And so to me, get the very best, I say, get the very best plastic recorder you can. And what I've heard from many, many recorder artists is that they would rather have a very, very good, very fine, professional level plastic recorder than a moderate level wood recorder. So if you're not going to spend $3,000 on a recorder, then spend the $75 or $55 or whatever it is and get the decent recorder. There are two recorders that I like, Aulos and Yamaha. I like them both. I like them for different reasons. I like the Yamaha for playability. I like the Aulos for sound. So those are the choices, Aulos or Yamaha. And I prefer the Aulos. It's Rhythm Band, they call it. The Rhythm Band. Aulos is the brand that actually makes it for them. Comes in a case, in a hard case, and you will typically get two recorders in one. You'll get a case with a soprano and a case with an alto. So that resolves the problem of whether you should get an alto or a soprano. And that's going to cost around $70 when you've got the shipping all paid, maybe $75, something like that. So $75 maxed out. If you want a Yamaha, they're going to be about $10 to $20 more, and you're going to have to get them separately. You can't get them in a kit together. Well, you can, but you really don't want to spend that, because it's actually as 4 recorders, and you're not going to use all 4 recorders. A Sopranino you probably will never use. A tenor you probably will never use. Actually, the alto is probably the one you'll use the most, and then occasionally you'll go to the soprano. So that's it on which one to buy. And if you are one of my students, whether online or here in person, I have about 20 people sitting here with me. Say hello to everybody. And so I have about 20 people here right now in my class, and something on the order of 20 or so, maybe 30 people online. I don't know how many. You don't have to spell it. All right. Join me on the next lesson. Click to the next lesson, which is, say what? I didn't get it. Which recorder did you mean for me to buy? That's the next lesson. Okay.